morning, Algebra. Today we're going to do, I think it's section 4 of chapter 8. And the book has this crazy name called Special Products. There's nothing that special about them. There used to be a cereal, or I think there still is. I, of course, eat Raisin Bran. But there used to be a cereal called Special K. And it just kind of reminded me of that. And since it's morning time, I thought I'd bring that up. Anyway. Special products, according to them, are, at first glance, they look a little different. I have to say that's true. Remember, we just learned how to do FOIL, okay? So if they have a binomial times a binomial, you know to do first times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, and last times last. Well, what if they wrote it just a little bit different? At first, when you look at something like that, you might think, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. But then your genius brain in about 2 seconds sees that that is just times that, right? That's the same thing. And then your genius brain says, oh yeah, I just do FOIL on that, okay? So when you see something squared, that should not freak you out. If we did FOIL, you see that it's the first times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, and last times last. And then these you're always going to combine together. Look at how that relates up here. After a while, you're not even going to really need to write it out like this. You can see that when it's placed in the squared format, you're going to take the first one and square it, the last one and square it, and the middle term, you're going to multiply those two together and double it. Do you see why? You're going to double it here. So if I gave you another one to practice, you should be able to do that pretty dang easy. All right, I'll stop, look out the window at the rain on this July day that I was supposed to be golfing. And anyway, you just practice right now. Do it without writing it out and doing FOIL, okay? All right, go. Okay, we're back. So remember what I said? Is if something is in the squared format, you're going to square the first one. A common mistake, I have to say, is people square the first one, square the last one, and leave it like that. So they would write down 4x squared plus 9. That is not correct. Okay, don't do that. So we square the first one. We square the last one. We do that. But there's a middle term that you're going to forget if you do that. And the middle term is you multiply the two together and then you double it, remember? Because we do it twice. We do the outside, then we do the inside, and then we add them together. So 3 times 2x gives you 6x, and when we double it, we get 12x. Okay? Can you see that the same thing is going to happen if we had this subtracted? It's essentially the same thing. You can, again, if you're uncomfortable with this, you can write it out and do FOIL, or you can do the special way. Square the first one, square the last one, multiply the two together and double it. Now gives you negative 12x. Okay? There's one last special one, and this truly will save you some time. If they gave you one that was the same, let's do 3, but the only difference is one is plus and one is minus, this is called the difference of two squares, or, the difference of two squares. So let's just do FOIL and see what happens here. First times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, and last times last. So do you see that this cancels out? So when you see the difference of two squares, actually, you know, sorry, I don't think they call that the difference of two squares yet. But essentially, it's 1 is plus and 1 is minus, okay? It's when we factor it that we call it the difference of two squares. Never mind that, that comes later. Anyway, we're going to square the first one. We're going to square, or multiply the last two together. And then we know that everybody else is going to cancel, okay? So, I might have made a little... I hope I didn't confuse you there. Let's just try another sample problem real quick. Okay? Go ahead, you do it. Okay. So remember what we do. We look at it, we see it's the same format, except 1's plus, 1 is minus. So we square the first one, or essentially we multiply the first two together, which gives you 9y squared. We multiply the second two together, and we're done. All right, there's your special products.